seconds worth. And here we're doing well, for some reason I got kicked off again. Let's reset the screen again. Don't know why that would happen. The frame rate is fine, but the resolution wants to be kicked up here to 1440 by 1080. And I click OK. And then I type a caption for our session. CPC 9.25 HyperStar and MallinCam ES 2.3 plus 2.3 megapixels. And then it's there goes the title. Hey Grant, welcome. Hi Jack. Got back from Pennsylvania a little early. I was so dog tired coming back from Lancaster where my niece is living. We went up there for the day. And as we were driving back, the sky just was getting clearer and clearer, and it was just irresistible. Are you going to be, Jack, are you on tonight? I see your skies are clear too. Well, let's see. Maybe, but I doubt it. Well, I'm dog tired. I don't know how long I'm going to last, but we're going to try it. Well, the image is 1440 by 1080 using KVY-CAM off this laptop. It's an okay image. It's not as nicely resolved as your images are. Makes me want to get a 4K monitor. But the 2K is going to do. You had issues with your shutter system. On which camera? Did you see the email I sent to you in time? I saw the first pair of emails you sent yesterday. If you sent something today sometime, I would not have seen it. Oh, the shutters on the observatory. Well, they're obviously important. Yeah, not tonight, but maybe tomorrow, or I'll go ahead and try and reload or check and make sure I've got the SCOM drivers and the D show that I need to make the RSpec work. I should be able to get an image up just like you had done. Yeah, I think they're loaded. I think I loaded the whole thing, but I will check. You still get a periodic crash, then it works. Who knows, yeah. That periodic crash business I had too, earlier on. Don't know what that's all about. Hey Bill, welcome. We're looking at the double cluster here. So it was I was explaining about the camera setup a little bit to Jeff Palmer. and about the video camera and how this camera, you know, you can see wonderful details that you can't even begin to see with the eyeball when you're looking at the eyepiece. But it's not the kind of camera that is used for imaging where you have very low noise in the camera. That's the fundamental thing. Very low noise, and pixels have very deep wells so that they are capable of, very high bit depth, they call it, high signal noise ratio imaging. But, you know, this is wonderful. We have the basic corrections that we need for getting a nice semi-live image up on the screen. This one is 5 seconds long right now. And we have dark field correction. We now have flat field correction, which is going to be soon available. And Jack, I was thinking about that flat field correction on these color cameras. Like this one, the DS 2.3 Plus, I think it will work because that I bet that when you do the flat field exposure for that function, you're affecting the luminance channel, and then, you know, that correction is applied, that factor is applied to all the color. Yeah, I heard Rock is really, he wrote and said he was really down for the count. Had it really bad, he said. I always get that flu shot. At least then, hopefully it's going to be not 100% as bad as it could be. Bill in Oklahoma says it's everywhere.
What?
And Grant in the UK says you've got it. Yeah, they say the flu vaccine this year had the correct strain. They did the best they could, and they did have the correct strain of flu virus in the vaccine, but it's mutated some. And of course, you know, then you don't have the complete effectiveness. And they've now changed these flu vaccines too, so if you're a senior, like I am, you get a dose that's double the youthful dose. I guess when you get old, your immune system goes downhill fast. Oh dear. So you need to have a big shot of immunogen to make it take hold. Let me get my notebook just a second. All righty. Let's see. Well, we can just tool around and look at some stuff tonight. I don't have any particular agenda. I'm just relaxing. A fever of 101. Well, that really gets to you. Right, do you guys in the UK use this channel for broadcasting? I know in the forum I see several participants, but I haven't on the broadcasting end. Well, let's see. Well, why don't we go to take a look.
Okay. I'll clean up.
Here. Yeah, 45 is nice. I'm really cold. Oh boy. Research Scope Mountain Dome. Well, that'll be very nice when you get that done, Grant. Send us some pictures.
That burger was good.
Yes, I couldn't believe it when this afternoon I got home and it was about 40 instead of around 20. That makes a huge difference. Okay, so let me cancel that title and we'll open up SkyTools. Here's the double cluster in SkyTools and I'll back out. And let's take a look and see where we are. The white line is the meridian. And so, we're already west of the meridian. There's the 30-degree line. So if we want to get good views of the Andromeda spiral and pinwheel, we might do them first. Or if you're out here's the 30-degree line. I'll put let me pick magenta. There we go. Out here's the 30 degrees altitude right here. The green line over here on the left, you can't see that quite. That's the horizon line on my chart. Where am I going with it? And then I'll put it back where it was here. Yeah. Okay, so the white line is the meridian, and I can straighten it up by just clicking on it and centering it. So there's the meridian line. And then you can see the zenith is marked up at the top here. Shoot, there's the zenith. And what have I done? I'll get there. There we go again. And what I wanted to grab was the crayon. There we go. So this is 30 degrees of altitude right here. And then here's 60 degrees here and 90 degrees at the zenith right here. So if we pick objects in the west, anything favorite before it sets? West is now on the right-hand side. And why don't we just go to the Andromeda Galaxy for starters? It's rather bright. Okay, so I've centered it, and now I'm going to click Go To. My telescope is the blinking white X kind of paint on your display. It's approaching the galaxy now. There it is. There. So it's reached its target. We can go now to the camera. And there we are. So let me back out. Well, it is backed out. So there's the galaxy. What I want to do is I'm going to slew this to. I'm going to move the core to up here. Let me do that, and then we can expose some more of the star clusters down below. And to do that, I have this handy little tool from SkyTools. It's an overlay right now on my MallinCam Sky. And with it, we can I can click on here. And I think it's a pushing movement for the, yeah. and then for a pulling movement for right, left. No, that's probably good where I had it. We'll go up a little bit more. Okay. Maybe that's good enough. Okay, let's see what we can see here. Now this is just a 5-second exposure, so rather short exposure. And Jack's pointing out that we can see dust lanes now coming down here. It's hard to see too much else. You might see a very faint star cluster down here. It's a massive collection of H2 regions and open clusters called NGC 206. It's bright enough a region in the spiral arms to be given its own NGC number. And then we can also see a couple of other companion galaxies. Here's M110 and here's M32. These are smaller globular elliptical galaxies. Okay, so let's clear that out and let's see what we can do now to improve how this image looks. One thing I notice is I don't like the color of the background. It's kind of greenish. Move this palette off of our image. And then on the green, I'm going to deliberately add about 5 points to make the image quite green. And Jeff saw me do this earlier. There we go. Even greener. And now I'll hit white balance. And it goes to gray, although it's kind of a yellowish gray. And when you see yellow, it's kind of a greenish yellow. The green should come down a little bit. Let me take it down 1 point. And it needs a little blue. This is the 5-second integration still. Well, let's stick with that for now. So who we got now? Ed is on, and Jeff, and Jack, and Grant, and Bill. Yeah, it's going to be a fun night. Looks like Night Skies Network has calmed down for me. Oh, and Ski and Brandon are on. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so let's see what can be done with the 5-second image. I think I want to increase this at least to 10 seconds for the basic image. So let me do that. I'm going to stop, and we'll go up to 10. Let's see what that does. We're going to have to readjust the histogram for that. Oh, yes. Okay, so I can bring that white set up. Now, I've got about 75 points out of 255 points is the range on the histogram that I'm using. But this has worked a lot. Doing the histogram, increasing the amount of photons in there has helped a lot. Actually, we could, it's a pretty nice image. We could increase it still more. Let me, just for fun, 10 seconds was good, maybe 15 is better. We're going to let the core of the galaxy deliberately burn out, just for the sake of seeing details in the arms. It's going to go bright again. There it is. I'll go back to my histogram. Now the big peak in the histogram is almost mid-scale, and I'm giving it again about 75 points. But this is actually quite a bit better. We have we actually are able to see darkness here in the spiral arms. So that dark lane is all the way up there. This one actually can be seen now to curve around to become that one. And there's some other stuff going on in here. That's not too bad. And 206 is showing up pretty well. Here's NGC 206 is the little nebula right here. Those are actually a massive grouping of open clusters in H2 regions. It's a huge fireworks show. And we can actually see here that it's got some bluish color to it. One thing about this DS 2.3 Plus camera, it's pretty good in showing us color. I guess what I should do is take down some of the screen. Let me try it again. I'll go up to the color, take it down 2 clicks. That's a little bit much. Doesn't take much, does it? Okay, so green, we'll go up 1. Yeah, that's pretty good. You got the golden-ish color. That golden color is a lot of red supergiant stars and older stars and towards the main galactic disk and the galactic core. So let's try and add now some of these in the function down below, which is stacking. So Jeff was asking about live stacking, and I'm going to use it now. You can see the image is kind of grainy looking, at least on my view it is. So I will click averaging, and we're going to do, oh, I don't know, it doesn't matter for averaging, maybe 4 images, and I enabled it. The first one is in. Those ellipticals are quite golden also, aren't they? How you doing? Hey, Mark. Skiing in Wisconsin, have you had any warm-up out there yet? Julie? In Toronto? Well, I'm kind of punch drunk because I've been driving the car all day. Well, I'm now averaging about the original on 4, so it's a total of 5 in the image stack that are being averaged. And the way this works, the average of those 5 is then used for display for the next integration interval. We're integrating 15 seconds right now. Yeah, that works pretty well. I can go up here and maybe snap that. And then on the bottom of your display screen, you can barely see the progress bar working there. Yeah, thanks, Dewey. This is fun. So much harder to work with is M33. Let's go over there and take a peek and see what that's doing. I grabbed a picture. Yeah, I'll grab one more. Just be sure I got it. Okay. And I can come down here. Yeah. Sorry, folks. I got cut off again. I don't know what it is with my laptop. Hey, Rusty. How did you do last night? I'm sorry I couldn't join you. I saw that you were on. We were preparing for a trip to Lancaster, Pennsylvania today. Gosh, is it beautiful up there. All the Amish and Mennonite communities. It's really special to see that. Had a good night. Well, you had clarity. You got the Cone Nebula. Oh, that's cool. Your camera would bring that in really well. It's very tiny. Okay, so, yep. So my camera's working, and we have an active connection. I'm going to go down here now, and we're going to average some of these as well. Okay. So the first one is in the bag. We're doing 15-second integrations here. The gain of the camera is put at midway, so it's 50% of its maximum. I have pretty clear skies tonight, and the seeing is very nice. Jeff and I took a look earlier. We went to video mode, and we zoomed way in, and we looked at half-second exposures in video mode, and the stars were not even jumping around. They were right on position, so that was very nice to see. Okay, I'm going to activate the align function. If you haven't used MallinCam Sky before, it handles some of the basic corrections for getting a good image. It's got a dark field correction feature, which is very nice. And that does remove a lot of noise. The dark field has all the read noises. It's got the thermal noises that the chip sees from the amplifier glows, and that can all be pretty well subtracted. If you have any annoying hot pixels or cold pixels, that kind of is taken out. That's all from a dark field frame. And then the software also now has a flat field correction feature that's coming in that will be nice for people that need to remove optical problems like dust bunnies or especially vignetting. I have this lens on the front of my telescope called a HyperStar, and it gives a little bit of a vignetting effect, and that seemed to be removed very nicely from my DS16 monochrome camera. Okay, now that's averaged, and that's a pretty nice image right there. I'll snap one of those as well. If I look at my gain, gamma, yeah, this is just without any gamma correction. So we're running 15 seconds, the gain is halfway, and a dark frame, and that's basically it. The histogram, one of the main tools here. Read text, no, I don't know. Jack, let's try this. Tell me if this helps. I'm going to go on resolution on my NSN. I'm going to go to full HD. I don't know what that's going to do here. Click OK. Does that do any better for being able to read text? Do you like that better? Oh, well, let's stick with that. And let me, maybe I can frame this better, huh? Well, I should bring it up so you can see the progress bar moving across the bottom of the frame. Yeah, I should move it up even a little bit more. Yeah, you can just now barely make it out. It's over. I've been experimenting trying to see if it makes sense to use most of my real estate for the image rather than the menus. You're crashing with my internet connection. Okay. Yeah, it's a real humbling image. Here's that jumbo H2 region. If I could only remember its name, I think it's NGC 605. That thing is a monster. The Hubble telescope took a picture of just that object, and it shows tens of thousands of stars in it. It's like our own Orion Nebula, but 50 times bigger, if you can imagine that. So that's a lot of fun. And I see, near that object over here is this triangle. And that triangle is pointing down here to this double star. And if you work back from the double star, then back towards the galaxy in this direction, you come to a globular cluster, which is right here. I'll circle it first. It's right there under the little circle. And I'll erase this mess now, and you can see. I will zoom in on it so we can all see it. And I'll point it out. There's the double stars right there, and here is the globular. Right. Well, now I'm getting confused. I think it's this one right here. Right near this star. So it's pretty easy to find once you remember the triangle pointing to the double star and stuff. That's one of the biggest of the globulars in M33. Pretty cool stuff. And the beauty
You saw a finger on the 16th. Wait. No. 8th? The day of the accident was the 15th. 8th. You saw him on the 9th. Yeah.
I just sent you the girl's address,
Yeah, I saw that.
and she just paid the invoice, so
Okay.
if you could figure out how to do it, you can go ahead and make it.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I got kicked off again. I This time I loaded a new page. Let's go here and fix the image quality for you. And I want to check and make sure that my operation on my processors is okay. Yep, I'm still okay. I'm working on a single processor on this quad-core laptop. It's a pretty good picture of M33. Yeah, I'm using the same laptop. It's a couple months old HP Pavilion 17-inch. Oh, Grant said, Doug, Bill said, thank you for the show. So Bill had to sign off. Yeah, you're welcome. There's a Mag 11 Comet in Taurus. Oh, let's go there. Do you know the name of it? Is that the one that's, let's see if I can find it in my Sky Tools. I think I loaded a Comet recently there. I'm not sure. Comets. Might be a different. I need to refresh for sure. Update the current list from the web. Comets. Getting updated. Okay. There we go. And then I can hang on a second while this adjusts. Everything in Sky Tools works from a observing program, so I want to pick above 2x air masses only. That's above 30 degrees above the horizon. There we go. That's a more abbreviated list. And then comets. Comet list. That's groups. Auto-generated. And here are my lists. Comets. Nothing. So I guess I don't have that particular comment. Loaded. That's all right. We'll continue on. Well, Jack says go to current group. Okay. Here's the current group. And then current comments. And let's see if I update current lists from the web. me try it again. I suspect that list is probably one of your sort criteria. Yeah, it's too much to do in front of a group here, so it's one thing I'll have to unfortunately figure out. But thanks for the pointer. Next time we can go ahead and try the here my auto-generated. Okay. Okay. Well, let's go back to our map. The west is to the left of the white meridian, and where the X's are flashing on the pinwheel galaxy there. What's fun to do? The Pac-Man is quite near us still. Shall we look at that? That shows well on this camera because it's an H2 object, and that red color shows right up well. Camera's quite red sensitive. Let's see where I went. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there's the eye and so on. So we'll just go there and
well, that's a weird
go to target.
I knew the street and I knew the.
You have to add, Bodes is above the trees probably by now. We can go there. Let me take a look at this Pac-Man first. We got that. And then we can go take a look. I need to unhook us from these integrations. Oh, the camera's thinking about it. There we go. I already see it with this 15-second exposure. Yeah. Push it down a little bit. We'll let that clear and then I'll integrate a few this time. But Jeff, this time I'm going to not do averaging. We're going to do integrative addition. So I'm going to, it's still a little blurry. Let those stars settle down. Yeah, that's much better. And then let's do that. So I go down here and I will pick additive stacking. So now we're not doing average stacking, we're doing additive stacking, and I'm going to average the original and 2. And let's try that. Those stars are streaking a little bit. Do you see that? I suspect I'm not sure why that's happening. Sometimes that happens if you're near the meridian. But I think Pac-Man is already well off the meridian. Okay, Second one is in. Let me start averaging or aligning. And now you can see the effect of the addition. Bang, you get suddenly a very bright image. And that's working pretty well. This is surprisingly harder to do in some ways on the DS16C, although that's a more sensitive camera because monochrome. Although you would think it might work easier, but it has to do with the color. The red color just is picked up so well by this camera. And since we're doing a lot of H2 and planetary nebulae and that kind of thing with our cameras, it really is a good choice. Now, I do see some amp flow along the edges of the frame. But on the whole, that's a pretty decent picture of the Pac-Man. You guys that have your computers open, do you know for the Pac-Man if that primary star right there in the middle, if that's a so-called Wolf-Rayet star, the sky, that's causing the whole nebula to glow? My memory doesn't serve me very well on that star, but I think for the Pac-Man, that may be one of these very young hot stars. Jack's looking it up right now. Look at that Milky Way. We're right in the Milky Way and Cassiopeia, and boy, does it show. This is located, here, I'll show you. It's right at the bottom of Cassiopeia right there, NGC 281. NGC 281. Hey, David. I maybe should increase that background, that lower, the black set on the histogram. We're still at about 75%, 75 counts out of the 255 counts on the histogram. I've gone as low as 50, but tonight we've been using 75. So it says 82. So if I put in, I don't know, 86, let's see what will happen. I put in 86 to make the background a little darker. Background's going to get darker. Well, here it is. It's an OB association of hot, young blue supergiant stars. The brightest stars are part of a 5-star system. Fierce stellar winds from these stars are sculpting numerous elephant trunk projections along the periphery of the visible nebula, analogous to the pillars of creation in the eagle. Well, I maybe darkened it down too much. I'll back off again. 82, maybe we'll do that. Thank you, Jack. I see 1590. It's an OB association. Class O and Class B stars are these really hot ones. They're so hot, they're a blue-white hot. We saw them in the arms of the triangulum spiral a minute ago. They're not very abundant as far as stars go in galaxies. They're only, if you added them all up, there's something like less than like 0.3 of 1% of the stars, and that's what's causing those arms to be visible. It's quite amazing. I think clouds. Oh, well, that's good, Rusty. I saw you on the weather map tonight, and it looked like you're going to have a good one. But apparently not. Okay, now let's see if I can find. Shows as a 4-star system in Sky Tools. Wow. Quite amazing. Now, who was wanting to look at something else? Pac-Man, and then somebody had another request. Oh, Ed. Is Ed still with us? He wanted to see, yeah, the Bodes galaxy. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to go now back to my atlas. Before I do, let me unhook. I always get in trouble for not unhooking the stacking functions. I will let a raw image plop into place there. There it is. And now let's go look at how much help we have from that stacking to see the features of that nebula. Okay, so I'm going now to Sky Tools, and there we are. And I'm going to go to right here, Bodes Galaxy. We're on the right, center it. There, you recognize the Milky Way, Big Dipper on its handle, and right in that area where the red X is the Bodes Galaxy cluster. So sorry, I got unhooked again. I'll have to look at my equipment tomorrow, see what might be causing my problems. So let me fix the image on the screen. That whale galaxy is nice. if not too small for you. We can see the whale, but I don't know if can I reach it now at this time of year? I may have to wait till later in the spring, but I have to get higher. In fact, even for these guys, well, they're something like approaching 40 degrees altitude, so the boat's galaxy pair is not too bad. Okay, so let's slew to cursor. Yeah, whales down below boat. Mm-hmm. We're rushing it. It's still January. We could stay up to 2 in the morning, and then we could catch it. Okay. Well, I see a red sky, so I'm somehow near the neighbor's house or something like that. Wow. Okay, let's click on adjusting the color of our background here. White balance. 15 seconds, a little bit green. Let me go and knock out a little. I'm going to raise the green a little bit.
Operation completed.
Try this trick. Sometimes it really works well. Okay, I deliberately made it green. Now I'm going to click white balance. Okay, that's a little bit better, but I still have too much green in there. I'm going to take some of that out, one click or so. It's brown. It needs some blue. Hang on, I'm doing some color adjusting. There, now the background is starting to get gray. And maybe if I just desaturate this a little bit, maybe just too much color. Saturation. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go to our histogram. And now we have a nice dark background. It's kind of gray, so that's good. But I noticed that the cores of the galaxies are very bright. The arms are faint. So one thing I might want to try is gamma. I'm going to try gamma. This is a rolling 15-second image, so it's no big deal here. I'm not going to screw anything up. Gamma, I'm going to take it way down to about 0.3. Now this image is going to get quite bright. Oh, well, that's too bright. Okay, let's go up to 0.45. And let me see what we've got. Oh, I see. I think I can do something here. Okay, it's a little bit better. On 81, I can definitely see the arms a little bit better than I did before. We still have the same 75-point range. So that's with a gamma of 0.45, and I can tell you that the main spike in the histogram is way up there. It's around 150. So that's higher than I normally like to work, but It's a 15-second image, and I hadn't changed my integration time. I could go a little bit shorter on the integration. If I do that, if I take it down to 10 seconds, let's see what happens. I'm at Naren. I got Emily. And Minions, it says, okay, now I need to do some histogram adjust. Bring that black set down below the base of that histogram. And I need to bring the white set down. Bring it down like that. Well, I liked it better, I think,
Operation
with the
completed.
more photons, with 15 seconds. So let me do that. Go up and stop. 15 seconds. That's about as good as I can get it tonight here. And we are kind of, we're averaging our conditions to see both 81 and 82. The next refresh should be good, and then I can average some. And maybe tweak the histogram some more. Okay, so let's do some averaging. I'm going to click average. There we go. So I activated live stack, the original and 2 pictures for averaging. This shouldn't be too demanding. Yeah, we could go to that. 2403, that's a very pretty one too. And we got our conditions pretty much set now by having done the both galaxies. Even here, if you look at M81, that's this guy over here. You can start to see some of this blue color out in the arms. Has a sense of blue there. I'm pretty sure it is bluish, at least relative to the core, which is reddish. And you can see star clusters and irregular mottling in the arms here from the H2 regions and the clusters in the galaxy. Yeah, and dust lanes. You can definitely see dust lanes, although not as nicely as you can see them in the Andromeda spiral. And then towards the core, there's some nice dust lanes. There's one over here that I remember. Yeah, so that worked pretty well. Okay, let's go up to 2403. That was fun. Okay, 2403. Here we go. I'm looking. Oh, there it is, right there. There, I just centered it. That's it, right there. This is a galaxy definitely has a lot of lumpy structures in its arms, a lot of H2 regions that are quite prevalent. Uh-oh, I didn't unhook us from the stacking.
Yeah.
Well, this will do it. There we go. So this is the single raw. There it is. Okay, so let's take the original and 3 on this. I don't know. My big spike on the histogram's already at 150. This is a 15-second integration. I don't want to be piggy about it, but let's try it. Okay, so we're going to do additive and then stack. It's just the original one too. Let's see what happens. First one's in. Do well. Oh yeah. Okay, now you're going to keep me on my toes. I have to move that histogram up. Okay, maybe too much. $148. 150. So we still have the 75-point spread here. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to make the background darker. Oh, there it goes. And I should pop off some of that green. There, the green's going down too. We're seeing this pretty well tonight. Don't know what happens. I just get bumped off. But there we are again. Let me fix your picture. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Well, these arms are, one of them is very obvious. I think in photographs it works a lot better. That's one of them. And then there's another coming off this other side that wraps around like this and comes out here. This is 2403. Okay. Grab my cursor here and go up. Snap that and go back. There's the full frame. So you can see I was really pushing things with my histogram. Okay, let's go down here. I'll unhook us from the stacking. That'll put a raw picture in view. Yeah, Grant, it must be pretty early in the morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay, I guess we'll leave 2403. That was a preview of some spring. Thanks a lot for Ed. That was fun. Looking at boards ahead of time. Let's go now and do something simple, like let's look in the Pleiades. I want to look at the nebulosity there. It's very pretty to look at. Okay, so I'm spreading out and I'm looking for the Pleiades. There they are, right there. And Pleiades. So if I just go to here, they should show up okay. Oh yeah, there are a couple of nice globs to see in M33. I'll show you another couple another night. Oh, and Orion's coming up. Oh, the scope is moving. Let me just take a look and see. It's coming up over my neighbor's house, so it's got to get high enough that it clears. It might be high enough. It looks like it's almost 40 degrees. Here comes the telescope. Yeah. All right. Go to the camera. Whoa. I guess we're there. For sure. And you can certainly see nebulosity around. Let's see if I can shove these up a little bit. No. Well, there's the Seven Sisters for sure. It looks like the camera jammed. While we're trying to wait for that to resolve, let me, I can save some of my snaps. Oh, wait at the end. I'll do it now. Okay, here we go. I'm going to save them to test folder, and there we go. So I'm saving the pictures that I've been grabbing. I just didn't want to lose everything. Here they are, and I can get rid of them. Well, I have to re-grab my camera here. There we go. Trigger. I'm going to take it down to 10 seconds for the Pleiades. It's still bright. Yeah, Mark, that's what we're going to go for. You're trying to bring out this luminosity and look at the color of the reflection nebulae. All right, so what I need to do, what I want to do is undo the gamma. There we go, and then I'm going to fix my histogram. I put the dark set right up against the big spike in the histogram. And I've moved the bright white set down to an extremely low value, down to 100. So I have a 50-point spread now in the histogram out of a possible 255. And the background's still too bright for me, so I'm darkening it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, a little better. Maybe that's just too much. You know, the color is probably from my dark frame not being so hot. Outside right now is, well, it's 21. Let's just do a new dark frame. It won't take me long to do that at all. So dark frame is right here. And, oh, I see I wasn't capturing anything. I don't think I'm going to get very far. We're using a 35-degree dark frame, but I'll try it. It's easier. I have a dark frame from before. And let's apply the dark frame. The dark frame I have was made when the temperature was 15 degrees warmer. But it did darken the frame, and it took out the bright pixels, so maybe, hey, let's go with it. The dust was left over from the formation of the cluster, but at the age of about 100 million years, generally, before the cluster, almost all the dust originally present would have been dispersed by radiation. Instead, it seems that the cluster is simply passing through a particularly dusty region of the interstellar medium. Well, isn't that interesting? Yeah, let's go ahead and do, I'm going to do some additive stacking on this. So I'll do live stack, run additive, and I'm going to pick the original and 2. So the first picture's already in. The basic integration time is 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. Oh my goodness. Well, you can really see those clouds. These are blue reflection nebulae. Yeah, I'm just adding 10-second exposures. We don't have any gamma on there now. And there's just nebulosity all over the place. The Maya Nebula, the Merope Nebulae are both very bright. These are amazingly hot stars. Let's see what he said. See, what did it say? Look. Didn't say their class, but I think these are, they're not O stars, but I think they are B class stars. Hotter and brighter than Vega and Alpheratz and the boys. These are very blue white hot to begin with, and then so that's lots of light for reflecting, and the light is now reflected off clouds in the background, reflected back into our eye, and that scattering process is the same scattering that makes our sky look blue. So we see, scattering is very sensitive to the wavelength of the light, and it's sensitive to wavelength to the fourth power, the inverse fourth power. And so blue wavelengths scatter tremendously compared to red. So it's really biased toward blue. Yeah, so all I did, I picked the 10-second exposure time, because I think I could see most of the nebulosity I needed in the 10-second. And then I adjusted the histogram, and it seemed to be reasonable. And then what we did, we have the background corrected from before, and it's pretty much black, or dark gray, which is good. And then I activated the stacking. I only picked the original and 2. Let's see if that's what I did. Stacking. Yeah. The original 2. So it's a three picture stack. And then we have the dark field running. That's it. There's no gamma. The saturation's just at default. And I have an alt-azimuth mount, and boy, if there wasn't ever evidence for that, look at the black wedge at the bottom right of the photograph. Can you see that developing? That's because on my telescope with alt-azimuth, there's field rotation. So almost in all locations on the sky, from one picture to the next, on an alt-azimuth, you have field rotation. So all the big observatories deal with this. But now we have star alignment that's possible. And by aligning, it removes all the blur between the frames, and they come out very, very well. Okay, well, let's go down to the Orion Nebula, take a peek down there. Sounds good? Oh, yes. Hey, thank you. Gosh. Where would they be without my friends? Okay. And let's see if we can normal picture coming in there. There it is. All right, now we're back to the raw picture, and I can be free to go to the Orion Nebula. Here we go. Let's take a peek. There it is, and I'm going to center it right there. And let's go to center that. This nebula will pretty much fill the whole frame. With Sky Tools, you can check that out. I picked. Let me do this again. Sorry. We'll do that another time.
Operation completed.
Here it comes. Something's. You can watch the slewing on the camera. Well, something's getting bright and big. Now that orange glow at the bottom, that's from the neighbor's rooftops. Hopefully we're going to clear all that. Boy, it's still going. See where I am. Okay, we want it. It's right there. Okay. Yeah, there we are. Let's take a look. Oh. All right. Well, let's choose to fall, and I'll bring the black set up. Now this is depending on what we want to look at. Okay, here we are for orientation purposes. The first thing I usually do is try to look at the whole bubble. Get an optimized picture of the whole shebang. Thought. Big problem is the big problem is that the trapezium area is so bright, and the other portions of that nebula, which are fire red in color, are much dimmer. So we have to figure out a way to bring all that, and I can soften things. So the histogram now shows a big spike in the middle, and the white sets over to big stream right. So I'm not brightening things with the histogram, and I brought things to the left now with the black set to make it dimmer, grayer in the background, not as black. Right here. And when we do that, we can see a lot better, the dark nebulosity here. That shows much better than it did before. But what I'd like to do is get a picture that would focus first on that trapezium and the big Great Orion Nebula bubble here. So I'm going to immediately go to gamma, because gamma is going to let me see the trapezium area, so it's not as blown out as this. So let me go over to gamma. And when I do it, my histogram is going to shoot up to the top of the charts. But maybe that'll be helped if I change the exposure time. We're in 10 seconds. Gosh, I want to leave it there at 10 seconds for now. Okay, so then gamma. Gamma's on 1 right now, and I'm going to lower it down to, let's see if I can do it at 0.35. No, I can. It didn't help me very much with the trapezium area. It's still very bright. So let's knock down the exposure time a bit. Right now it's on 10 seconds. I'll take it down to, I don't know, 7? That'll make it a little darker. Yeah, I brought the trapezium into better control. And now I'm going to look at my histogram again. And there's plenty of brightness here. I don't think I need any additive stacking. Oh, yeah, so this helped. Now we can actually see, some of the details out here in the bubble better than we could see them before. I'm missing a lot of your conversation and banter here. Rich in Oregon. What camera are you using, Doug? It's the DS 2.2 Plus, and it's the C9 with the HyperStar. That gives me, a focal ratio of f2.3 approximately, as Jack said. Okay, boy, isn't that nice? So now let's see what we can do. I want to maybe average this to smooth it out better. So I'm on live stack, and I'm going to pick averaging, and let's live stack the original and 3. Second frame is in already, and the third. That's averaging already. 4. Okay, so now I'm going to increase the contrast in this picture, and the first action I'm going to take is to raise the dark set up toward the peak of the histogram, actually writing into that peak a little bit right now. And you can see with each refresh, each added picture, it's getting darker and darker. But now let's see what happens if I bring down the white set. Right now the white set's writing right at 255, way at the top. I'm going to bring it down to about 225, see what happens. Time to bring out those red regions. It's working pretty well. Yeah, high dynamic range would do dynamite on the Orion Nebula, but we don't have it yet. Yeah, thanks, Rich. You know what I'm thinking when I'm looking at eyepieces of this nebula, I see a lot of green, and what looks green now here looks kind of a just whitish or gray. I guess it just has to do with the differential sensitivity of the camera and the human eye. I'm going to go out and grab a picture of this. Let's take a look at the trapezium. That's best done with very short exposures, right? So I will unhook us from the stacking. Grab one more. There we are. Unhook from the stacking. And let's see if there we are. Okay, that's a raw live picture. I really love to look at these. They look almost like bubbles or big kind of big blisters or bubbles rising. There must have been big eruptive events of these new stars that are causing those to be. Okay, so let's see. I'm going up to the top here to my integration control. And what we're going to do is stop, and I'll take it down to, let's look at 1 second, see what 1 second does. And I don't necessarily want now gamma, so I'm going to put the gamma back to default at 1. There we go. And let's take a look now at how 1 second would look. Looping. Well, needs some histogram help. For sure. Okay, here we go. Now there's some of the bluer, greener colors coming in. It could even be a shorter exposure than that. It's almost impossible on this histogram to get less contrast than I already have. That's minimum contrast right now. The black is at 0 and the white set is at 255. So let's try and pick a shorter exposure time. So I really want to see those stars. The gain on the camera, again, is that I just left it at midway. Maybe that's what one of the easier things to do at this point is just to reduce gain. So let's take it down. I need to stop and drop the gain down. Let's go down to 10% gain. Here's 20% gain right here. And it looks to me like it's out of focus. I'm going to run outside and touch the focus up on that. I'll be right back. One thing I'm going to try and do is shorten this exposure. Let's see if shortening exposure lets me see. Right now we're on a half a second. So I can go to video mode, I guess. And see what I can do. Well, if I wanted to see with this sky that I've got tonight, I wanted to see the 4 stars of the trapezium and that nebula around it. I'm going to have to use some gamma. So let's do that. I go down and use the gamma slider again. Put it down here. At about 0.35. And let's see, we have to bring the histogram slider up now. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, I've taken the gain down to about 10%. But I still can't see those 4 stars. I think it must have to do with the seeing in the sky. Let's take a look at this. We're on video mode. I'm going to take the exposure down to just a half second or so, and I'm going to magnify this way up. So you can see the stars dancing around there. Brown dwarf sprinkling. Sprinkled among the newborn stars. Looking at the vicinity of the surface, researchers not only found several very low mass brown dwarf companions, but also 3 giant planets. They even found an example of binary planets, where 2 planets orbit each other. How cool is that? Or a planet and a giant moon. Where 2 planets orbit each other in the absence of a parent star. Wow. Yeah, you can see all 4, but on some nights they're just very, very clear. And I'll have to, there's something's fogging up my view. And it could be the atmosphere, but you know, the seeing is not too bad. The jump from frame to frame is more than it was when Jeff and I started looking at this at the beginning of the evening. The seeing has worsened as it's gotten colder. But they're jumping maybe a half diameter or so, and that might be enough to cause this blurring effect. Let's go here and see what happens if I bring the white set down. So the black set is, I grab it here, right at the base of the histogram right now, and now I'm going to grab the white set and drag it down. Okay, now we're 150 units away. Wow. So we don't have much light, and now we see the effect of being on video mode with very few photons making up the image. But we could handle that by just averaging this. But you know, if I average this, it's going to be kind of a mess, right? You can see it's dancing around quite a bit now. That's not the telescope. Well, it's the wind in part blowing my tube, and I think it's the seeing in the sky. Well, I'll snap a pic here, but it's not anything to write home about, for sure. There'll be other nights when we can do a lot better a job. Yeah, Ma. We're going to go back to default. There they are. And by the way, I was reading about O-class stars, and this star in the trapezium right here, I think it's called C. Theta Orionis C. This is an O-class star, and it's one of the very hottest stars that we know of in the sky. Very, very hot. Not going to last very long. It's burning itself out very quickly. Could be gone already. Okay, so let's back off here. Oop, what have I done? There we go. The trapezium. Okay. Okay, so let's try the horse head, huh? That should be high enough too. That's a little bit higher than the trapezium. So to go there, I want to make sure I'm not doing any stacking, and I'm not. And this is going to be more or less normal imaging again, so I can go up here, and I think it's going to be like 10 seconds would be good. I'll start looping there at 10 seconds. Let's see what happens to our trapezium. Really blow out. There it is. Okay. And the horse head's always difficult to spot, so I'm going to pull the dark set all the way down so we have maximum range on the dark side, and I've dragged the plate set down to about 100. Okay, so here we go. And I'll back off here. Here's where the horse head is up here. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. And yeah, let's see what happens. So here comes the telescope up from the Orion Nebula. And there it is. And seconds. Well, I think I see it. Now, let's definitely go to 15 seconds before we start doing anything. Or even longer. But 15 maybe. And you know what? I think the gain, I want to put it back. The gain has to go back to, I had it at mid-range. Okay. And the gamma is off. Woo. And that's just the histogram. Here we go. Let me fix it. 0.96. So I will put this up here. Let's bring the black set up. There it comes. I want to make sure I've got a dark frame running here. Yeah, I do. Well, there we are. Basic picture coming in. Yeah, you can all spot the horse head. There she is. Okay. Now. I'm going to bring the black set up a little bit more. My dark frame is no good anymore, right? You can see the bright borders around me here. We could get rid of that completely if I just took a new dark field frame. 20 degrees now. Temperature is dropping. Okay. So let's stack a couple of these. I pulled the white set out and away a little bit to make it darker, but we need that with the averaging. Or stacking. Okay, so let's go back now down to live stack. Live stack the original and 3, is it? That's 4. Might be much. Let's see here. 3, the original and 2. Let's do that. Total of 3. The first one is in. Look at the reflection nebula in the star near the horse. Over to the left. Good night, Ed. See you next time. Okay. We got 3, and it hasn't updated the picture yet, though. Just check my affinity. We're still running on one processor. Oh, that's good. It doesn't seem to me it updated. Well, I'm dragging the histogram bright set down a little bit. I didn't see any effect of doing that. Come on. So it's enabled, it's aligning, and we have the original and 2. Oh, I have it on average. Okay, my fault. Not program's fault. I'm undoing that. Let's go now and click on additive and do this again. There we are. We're going to have a lot of noise, thermal noise. But let's see what happens. Some of that noise I can mask out by just zooming in a little bit. Here it comes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Kind of noisy. Yeah, you know what? The next step would be to get more photons. We would go, instead of doing 15 seconds, we might try 20. Well, now it's getting too dark, isn't it? So doing this, you just tool around and poke around, and eventually these controls, they're limited in number. You just have exposure time, gamma, the gain of the camera, and the histogram. 4 variables to play with. The other things don't really count. Saturation, color. I mean, those are just cosmetic touch-ups, but the actual quality of the photograph. Now, what did I do here? I backed off on my histogram setting. That horsehead column is really quite dense, isn't it? Let me stop this for a minute. I'm going to try doing a longer exposure. Okay, let's see if we get a... Okay, and now I'm back. I'm sorry about that. Let's fix the resolution of the picture. Okay, there's our horse head, and now I'm going to, we've activated the addition, additive stacking of the original and two others. So this is just pushing it too much. Too grainy. Now, we'll improve when the horsehead gets up to the meridian, which it isn't yet. So I'm seeing that, what my instincts tell me is that we should decrease the gain. Let's try and do that. We've got to learn what makes this picture look smoother. So let me stop this, and the gain we're going to take down to 10. That's 20% gain. 20% of maximum. And let's loop again. And I need to stop this. I've left it at 20 seconds of integration. So I've lowered the gain. And of course I have to fix my histogram again. Okay, it is smoother. Now what's this? You guys get this happening on your PCs? Sim cleaner came out of the blue. Okay, that's much better. Now, that we can stack. So let's go ahead and live stack. I'm going to go with the original plus, well, the original and 3. And so I'm doing additive stacking. I got the original and 3. That's a total of 4. The first one's in. Here comes the second. And while that's doing, I'm going to click the green down by 1 click or so. Wow. Doing its addition. Look at the improvement we got by reducing the gain. Okay, so hold this. Horsehead is very, very faint, so yes, you can make it visible by cranking the gain way up, but there are limiting benefits. Let's see if this will catch. It should darken now. Here it goes. And click down on the let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's better, Dave, right? Looks like my dark frame, it really you should let me go out and get a new one, but. Okay, this will be it for the horsehead. I'm going to go over to the rosette now. We'll take one look at the rosette, and I think that'll be it. I'm pretty much wiped for my drive up and back from Lancaster today. Wow, that's nice. You can see some of the stars that are embedded in the nebula. Whoa, what happened? Here they are. Here's one of them. And there are stars and that you can see and halos around the edges where there are these nascent stars that are being born. Quite a remarkable sight. Okay. And see, I'm going to unhook us and we'll go to the rosette. and then I'll call it quits. Yeah, it's fun. All right, so here we are back at Sky Tools, and right over next to Orion is the Rosette. Right there. I'm going to go right into the middle of it. And let's see. This is surprisingly big, but it's also very faint. Okay, it says the slew is complete. And here are the pictures rolling in for it. I've got the gain. We should remember it. What is it, 20%? Let me look. The gain is at 20%, 10 out of 50 points. 20% gain. And the gamma is at 1.0. And there is the star cluster, which is the heart of the Rosette. Looks like it has an NGC number, NGC 2244. And okay, so I've moved the histogram a little bit, and you can see the big red circle here. Do you make it out? This is the big wreath that is the Rosette Nebula. So can you make it out? And I will now stack some of these. This is a perfect case for stacking. I'll do the original and 3, just like we did for the horse head. It's working on the first, integrating the first picture right now. Yeah, barely make it out, but you can see it there. There, the first one is in. If you use your imagination, you might be able to see some dark structures here in the image. These are elephant trunk, nebulae. Oh, there goes a satellite across. Yes, I appreciate you recording this. There, now we can see the Rosette. You see it? Okay, let's see. We need to go to the cursor, and I need to do some work on the histogram now. Make it a little bit darker in the background. Oh, this is going to be good. Dark in the background. And you see those elephant trunks around the border of this nebula? It's quite remarkable. Yeah, dark nebulae at the top, especially up there. Here's the red color. This is just huge patch of H2, so the whole frame is going to be red. Oh, and look, the satellite. After our image stack, the fourth picture. It's going away. All right. Let's see if we can make it brighter. I can drag the light set down now. But if I risk making it too grainy. and it's going to get darker. Let me decrease this darkness right here. Go down to 61. Now hang on. What I'm doing is lowering the black set a little bit. And I brought the white set, we decreased it, so that the total histogram spread now is about 100. It's about 75 points. That's like they had for the galaxies in the beginning of the session. And I do want to check and make sure that the that's too bright again. I have to bring it up. The histogram's pretty sensitive. You have to really kind of baby it. 62, 63. Well, this will darken it a little bit. Maybe I should just pull the white set up a little bit. 123 will go up to 127. 63. And this wants to be a 7. Yeah, so we have that, the Elephant Trunk Nebula up by, you see this, but you know, the Eagle Nebula has fantastic elephant trunks as pillars, and here in the Rosette also. There we go. Yeah, the hole in the road. The whole field of view. Let's see if it's the whole field of view. Here's my whole field of view. And that was kind of zoomed in a little bit to get rid of the glow on the edges because I was too lazy to make a cold, dark field. But after I close off with you guys, I'll go out and make a new low temperature dark field. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's about it for me. I'm about melted down. This was fun tonight. We did some of the showpiece objects in the sky. Yeah, with a good dark field would fix that right up. I think I'm gonna let this roll. If I get a good rosette, I'll post it online so you can see. Well, you're welcome. I'll see you all on another occasion. Thanks for joining me tonight. Good night, all.